Superheroes die all the time, but not like this. Some deaths feel heroic, some feel shocked, and some completely break the story. But here's the part most people miss, are the ones that permanently change the story after they happen. And the first one accidentally breaks its entire universe. Darwin. X-Men, First Class, 2011. Darwin's mutation had one rule: survive. Fire, he adapts. Pressure, he evolves. Energy, he absorbs it. In theory, he shouldn't be able to die. Which makes his death in X-Men, First Class, so baffling. Sebastian Shaw forces an energy blast into Darwin's body, and he's gone in seconds. And the moment that happens, the movie accidentally breaks its own rules. Because if a character literally designed to survive anything can suddenly die for convenience, then nothing in this world feels believable anymore. No adaptation, no evolution, nothing. The movie establishes the rules of his power, then immediately breaks them for convenience. That's the rarest kind of bad death in superhero movies. Not sad, not shocking, just frustrating. A concept with limitless potential, wasted before the film even finds its footing. But breaking the rules isn't the worst thing a superhero death can do. Sometimes, one death destroys the audience's sense of safety completely. Loki, Avengers. Infinity War, 2018. Infinity War is barely 10 minutes old. Loki is doing what Loki always does. Talking, buying time, looking for the angle. For a moment, it feels possible, because that's always how he survives. Thanos doesn't negotiate. And the second Loki dies in the opening minutes, the audience realizes nobody is safe anymore. If Loki can die this early, Marvel can kill anyone. The death is fast, brutal, and completely without ceremony. No music, no speech, no slow motion, just silence. That assumption evaporates in real time, and every scene that follows in Infinity War hits harder because of those first 10 minutes. But some deaths do something even stranger. They turn failure into the beginning of someone else's story. Quicksilver, Avengers. Age of Ultron, 2015. Pietro Maximoff spends most of Age of Ultron underdeveloped. Fast, arrogant, not quite committed to being a hero. Then the final act resolves his entire arc in 15 seconds. Hawkeye is about to die protecting a child. Pietro sees it. He moves, he gets there, he takes every bullet. And that single moment ends up shaping Wanda Maximoff for years afterward. Without Pietro's death, there's no WandaVision, no multiverse of madness, no Scarlet Witch. He becomes a hero in the exact moment he dies, with no time between the two things. That compression is what makes it hit. But what makes the death linger isn't really Pietro. It's the damage left behind afterward. His death becomes the emotional fracture at the center of Wanda's story for the next several years of the MCU. It's less an ending than an origin, just not his. But Wanda's story wasn't the only superhero arc built around death. Because one MCU death didn't just change a character, it ended an entire era. Iron Man, Avengers Endgame, 2019. Tony Stark's death is the most structurally complete in the MCU, and that's precisely what makes it devastating. Iron Man, 2008, begins with Tony Stark caring about nobody but himself. Endgame ends with him sacrificing everything for everyone else. So when Thanos is about to win in Endgame and the stones are within reach, Tony doesn't hesitate. I am Iron Man. That line closes a loop that opened in 2008. The snap works. The cost is everything. The hole it leaves is structural, not just emotional. Tony was the through line that made the MCU feel coherent from Phase 1 through Endgame. The era of grounded, consequence-driven storytelling ends with him. That's not just a character death. It's a closed chapter. And then Marvel did something even harder. It showed a death that couldn't be fixed by sacrifice, or multiverse logic, or another sequel. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, 2022. And then there's a death that doesn't feel like a moment. It feels like an absence. T'Challa doesn't fall in battle. There's no final stand, no last line. He's just gone. And that's what makes death hit differently. This isn't a death that raises stakes. It leaves an absence the MCU can't really replace. Because this isn't just about the character. It's about what he represented. A king, a protector, a symbol. And without him, Wakanda doesn't just lose a leader. It loses its center. The entire story shifts around that absence. Shuri has to step up. The nation has to adapt. Even the tone of the MCU changes. It's one that leaves a gap nothing can fully replace. And that's what makes it hit differently. Because sometimes, the most painful deaths aren't the ones you see happen. They're the ones you have to live without. Reed Richards, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, 2022. Reed Richards appears in Multiverse of Madness, and for a moment it feels like something important has arrived. A legendary character, a long-awaited introduction, instant recognition, then he's destroyed almost immediately. And that's the real point of the scene. In the multiverse, importance doesn't protect you anymore. No build-up, no heroic sacrifice, no payoff. Even someone as significant as Reed Richards can vanish in seconds because the story no longer cares about status or expectation. Wanda doesn't defeat him because he's weak. She defeats him because power in this universe has become unpredictable and absolute. What lingers isn't sadness, it's uncomfortable. The realization that in this version of the MCU, legacy means nothing if you're standing in the wrong place at the wrong time. No one is protected by their own importance. But randomness isn't what makes the next death unforgettable. What makes it terrifying is that the character chooses it. Rorschach, Watchmen, 2009. Rorschach's death works differently from every other death on this list because it isn't really about dying. By the end of Watchmen, the truth is finally exposed. Millions are already dead. The world is at peace for the first time in years, and revealing what actually happened could destroy that peace overnight. Everyone else accepts the compromise. Rorschach doesn't. And that's why he has to die. Because compromise is fundamentally impossible for him. No flexibility, no middle ground. The same rigid morality that made him terrifying also makes him incapable of looking away now. Dr. Manhattan realizes the problem immediately. If Rorschach leaves alive, the truth comes with him. Everything holding the world together falls apart. And Rorschach understands that too, which is why the scene becomes something stranger than a normal superhero death. He doesn't fight it. He walks toward it. No panic, no attempt to survive. Just absolute certainty that dying matters less than betraying his principles. And then there's Logan, a death that hurts for the exact opposite reason. Not because it's sudden, because you know it's coming the entire time. Logan, 2017. Logan's death doesn't shock. It exhausts, in the best possible way. Logan, 2017, opens with Wolverine already dying. Adamantium poisoning, healing factor failing, the famous endurance visibly breaking down. You spend the entire film watching a man once defined by indestructibility become fragile. The final fight is against X-24, a younger, faster clone of himself. Everything he was, turned against everything he's become. He can't win, not for lack of will, because time and damage have finally caught up. He dies protecting Laura, a child who carries his mutation and his future. Quietly, without ceremony. The torch passes without a speech because that was never who Logan was. It's the rare superhero death that feels biologically inevitable. Not a plot decision, not a sacrifice engineered for stakes. Just a man, at the end of what his body could carry, finally being allowed to stop. The deaths people remember aren't always the biggest. They're the ones that leave something behind. A scar, a change, an absence. Because when a superhero's death really works, the story never fully recovers from it.